So I try to live up to my nickname, which is the Ginger Ninja, and these two tips are going to go along with that and the final approach to your hunting spot. Now we all know how important access is, but there's a couple other aspects to that that I feel are extremely important, and that is sound and speed. So you know how you have some of those days that it's just super loud, it's not really windy, you've got a lot of leaf cover on the ground, and it just sounds like you're walking on a bag of potato chips. Sometimes you just can't avoid that, and honestly, I'll try to stay out of my better spots on those days, but if I feel like I have a good chance at slipping in on a buck and he's possibly moving in daylight and I just need to hunt that spot right at that moment, what I try to do in that situation is when I'm walking in, I will try to sound like a flock of turkeys. Now I always carry a mouth call in my bino harness, and on those days I'll just simply cluck, purr, do some yelps, just try to sound like a flock of turkeys feeding in the timber. If you've ever heard of a flock of turkeys feeding in the woods, you know how loud they can be. So I'll purposely make more noise, scratching the leaves, try to make turkey noises, and I feel like that gives you a little bit of an edge and the deer don't pay quite as much of attention to you. Now the second thing is speed. So on the final approach, that final 200, 150 yards, whatever it may be, I really try to slow down my approach and just take all the time that I need to. So to go along with that, give yourself a little bit of extra time when you're trying to access these spots for an evening hunt. It may take me an hour, 2 hours to cover, not that much ground. So I really try to give myself enough time. But to go along with that, I will also carry a trekking pole with me. Now I hunt super steep terrain here in West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania. So the trekking pole not only helps me navigating steep terrain, but I can also use that trekking pole for when I really slow my approach down and I'm having to balance myself for an extended period of time when I'm walking over sticks or brush or whatever. So, that's when I tend to make the most noise, is if I'm trying to balance on one foot and then I lose my balance and I have to take a step backward, and then a lot of times I'll step on a stick or something like that and make a bunch of noise. So I will carry the trekking pole and use that as an extra balance point. So if I have to take a long step and I'm really trying to go slow and put my heel down and just roll my foot real soft, I will use the trekking pole as an extra point of contact for a little bit extra balance, and I feel that really helps a lot. Now another thing you can do with a trekking pole is to break up the cadence of your walk. So if the leaves are still a little bit crunchy and you're doing that final approach and you're trying not to sound like a person, just slowly, steadily walking in the leaves, I'll use that trekking pole as kind of a third step, so I'll sound more like a deer. I'll take 2 light steps and then I'll use the trekking pole and plant that down, and it sounds more like a deer just kind of feeding through the timber. So those are a couple more tips I like to use, so drop in the comments below and let us know what some of your tips and tricks are for accessing your spots to kill these big mature bucks. Hopefully that helps.